Hi, I'm Lucy, and welcome to Beautifully Unfinished. This is the podcast about figuring life out in the midlife and learning to navigate the good, the bad, and all those messy bits in between. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time listening, I'm so glad that you're here and joining us today. This is a place where we talk about real life, not the polished version, the complicated, the messy, the version where sometimes we think we've got it all figured out and then we realize we absolutely don't. And this week I'm going to talk about something I've recently discovered that I'm actually quite good at: procrastination. In fact, I'm not good at it, I'm brilliant. Perhaps you're thinking, well, Lucy, you're certainly not alone here, because I don't think I'm the only one. And actually, today is a perfect example. Because I'm recording this podcast very early in the morning and I'm about to dash off to my early morning gym session, I haven't even managed to put any makeup on yet. And I'm not entirely sure if I actually put a hairbrush to this head. Normally, I would have thought, Lucy, you can't record this podcast looking like this. You can do it later. Get yourself ready first. Put some makeup on. Do your hair. Look presentable. And suddenly I've created another pile of reasons not to do it. But this morning I thought, no, I'm not going to go and procrastinate today. I'm just going to get the job done. And actually, why am I waiting for everything to be perfect? Why does my hair have to be perfect? Why do I have to have makeup on? Why do I have to look so completely put together before I can press record? Because the truth is, I don't. This is real life. This is me. No makeup, questionable hair. Jim is waiting for me and I'm recording my podcast. Because done is better than perfect. And perhaps that's actually where we should all start today's conversation. Sometimes we wait until we're ready. We wait until we have more time. We wait until we feel more confident. We wait until everything is organized and all the ducks are in a row. We wait until everything looks right. And sometimes we just need to do the thing. So today, that's what I'm doing. I'm pressing record and then I'm going to get myself to the gym because I don't want to procrastinate my life waiting for the perfect moment. I want to live it. Recently, I found myself feeling quite overwhelmed and stressed by so many areas of my life. There just seems to be so many moving parts to it. Commitment, family, trying to see my children, my grandchildren, and spend proper time with them, spending time with the one that I love. And then there's the fact that I'm spending an awful lot of time on the road, living in two different places and two different towns. And if I'm honest, it's taking its toll. When everything starts feeling too much, what do? I get a bit stressed and I procrastinate. I put things off. And then, of course, the things I've put off are still there. So now I have the original problem, plus the guilt of not having dealt with it. And what a brilliant combination. So I stopped and I did what I always seem to do when my head is spinning. I started writing a list. My notorious list came out, everything that was taking up space in my mind. And suddenly, instead of one enormous cloud of everything, I could see the individual things. I put them in sort of compartments and I started asking, what's urgent? What's important? What can wait? And most importantly, what am I actually avoiding? Procrastination isn't always about being lazy or lacking discipline. Sometimes it's about stress and the emotional discomfort of it. We avoid the thing that we don't want to experience, the feeling that comes with it. Sometimes we're just scared because we simply can't see what's ahead. So let's take the next step. And that brings me to something beautiful Charlie Mackesy wrote. It says, "I can't see a way through," said the boy. "Can you see the next step?" said the horse. "Yes." "Then just take that," said the horse. I love that. Just take the next step. Because how often do we stop ourselves? We look at the whole mountain and think, how on earth am I going to climb that? Perhaps we're not supposed to see the whole mountain. You just need to ask, what is the next thing? Open that email, make that phone call, start that report. Once you take that first step, the next step becomes visible. And that is where Mel Robbins' 5-second rule resonated with me. The idea is simple. When you know you need to do something, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Because our brains are brilliant negotiators. I'll do some after coffee. I'll start after lunch. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't really feel like doing it today. And before you know it, you've had an entire committee meeting in your head about what you shouldn't be doing. The 5-second rule, that interrupts your conversation. You're counting backwards, which your brain doesn't normally do, and you just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, doesn't give you a chance to negotiate. If you just simply move, you'll get the job done. And sometimes that's what we need. No more thinking, just movement. We don't have to finish, we just have to start. And then there's another part of this for me, something I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's going to get perhaps a little personal. Being in a relationship, this has made me realize something about myself that I hadn't really stopped to really think about before. For a very long time, I've been someone who almost permanently is on standby. If someone needed me, I'd step in. If something needed doing, I'd help. If somebody needed me to take something on, I'd find a way to fit it in. I was very good at being available. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being there for people that we love. But I think somewhere along the way, I became so accustomed to giving all my time away that I forgot that my time also belonged to me. And now I find myself wanting to spend more of that time with the person that I love. And here's the difference. It doesn't feel like another commitment. It doesn't feel like another thing on my list. It doesn't feel like something I should be doing. It feels like something I want to do and need to do. I feel more alive, more full. My life is full. I'm more myself. And I think that's quite a beautiful thing. But it's also created a little bit of chaos in my life because I suddenly have something I genuinely want to prioritize. Some of the things that I used to automatically take my time are now moving down the list. And I think perhaps that part of what I've been calling procrastination, maybe I'm simply not avoiding things. Maybe I'm just reprioritizing things in my life. I'm learning that I don't have to be available to everyone all the time. I don't have to automatically say yes. I don't have to fill every space with something productive. I don't have to feel guilty because I want to spend time with the man that I love. Because perhaps one of the lessons of midlife is realizing that our time is precious and short. And who we choose to give that time to matters. Of course, work still needs to be done. Responsibilities don't disappear. Washing doesn't magically go and do it itself. Although, wouldn't that be lovely? That's a nice thought. But I'm learning to ask myself a different question now. Not just what needs to be done, but what do I want my life to feel like? And that's a very different question because I don't want to spend my life simply getting through my list. I want to live it. I want to make memories. I want to spend time with the people that I love. I want to be there for my children and my grandchildren. I want to work hard. I also want to have room for joy, room for love, for spontaneity, for sitting beside someone I love and doing absolutely nothing. And maybe that's why life feels a little bit messy at the moment because I'm learning how to make space for all of it. It's an adjustment, and maybe perhaps that's okay. Being kind to ourselves, that's something not a lot of us do. I've realized that that's something about the way I talk to myself. I often say, I'm stressed. And I've been thinking about those words because there's a big difference between saying, I'm stressed and I'm feeling stressed. The first one sounds a bit like an identity, and I don't want to be identified as the stressed person. But the other one creates space. I feel stressed. It's a feeling. Feelings can change, and it's not my stress, it's not my overwhelm, it's not my procrastination. I'm a person experiencing those things, And that's an important distinction, because if something becomes part of who we are, it can feel impossible to change. But if it's a habit, habits can change. And I think procrastination can become a habit. So think about it. You can take action about changing that. So just be kinder to yourself. Start believing in yourself. Forgive yourself. I think we have to act before we believe. Tell yourself, I'm good enough. Even if you don't completely believe it yet. Say it anyway. Your brain doesn't know what's right or wrong. You're telling it. And if you need to, high five yourself in the mirror. Yes, sounds ridiculous. It's another Mel Robbins thing. It sounds so silly, but it actually works. It reminds ourselves that we're on our own side. So high five yourself in the mirror tomorrow. Look at yourself and say, I've got this. Because perhaps we're waiting for confidence to arrive before we take action. Maybe that's the wrong way around. Maybe confidence comes because we take action. Maybe belief grows every time we prove to ourselves that we can take one small step. So what exactly am I learning here? Well, I think I'm learning that not everything deserves equal access to my time. Not everything is urgent. Not everything has to happen today. And choosing what matters doesn't mean we're failing at everything else. It simply means we're being intentional, and perhaps that is what midlife gives us. Gives us a little more awareness. We know ourselves a little better. We know our patterns. We know what happens when we ignore the warning signs. And I've been doing a bit of that. And we also know that we've survived a lot of difficult things before. We've started again before. We've picked ourselves up before. So maybe this isn't about becoming a completely different person. Maybe it's about becoming aware of the person we already are. And one last thought I want to leave with you. So if you're listening to this and feeling a little overwhelmed with life, a little overwhelmed with work or your relationship or your job, don't try to fix your whole day today. Don't look at the whole mountain. Ask yourself, what is my next step? And if there's something you've been avoiding, ask, what am I feeling? What feeling am I actually avoiding? Is it fear, failure, the possibility of disappointing someone, or perhaps the fear that you're not good enough? And then step back, be kind to yourself, forgive yourself for not doing it yesterday, forgive yourself for getting overwhelmed, forgive yourself for being a human, for goodness sake, and then take the next step. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We just need to see the next step, and perhaps that's enough. We don't need to see what's around the corner. We don't need to see how things unfold. Sometimes we just have to trust, for me, to trust in the Lord, or to have faith that things are going to work out. Just take the next step. So if you've got nothing else from today's episode, let it be this. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You're allowed to feel overwhelmed. You're allowed to change your priorities. You're allowed to make space for the people and the things that make you feel alive. You're allowed to say that 2-letter sentence, N-O. No. You're allowed to choose yourself. And you're absolutely allowed to take life one small step at a time. We aren't meant to have it figured out. We simply keep learning, keep growing, keep choosing, keep taking the next step. And maybe today your step is tiny. Maybe it's simply getting out of bed, or making that phone call, or answering that email. Maybe it's starting something you've been putting off. Maybe it's saying no today. Maybe it's choosing someone you love, or simply getting up and getting going. Whatever your next step is, take it. You don't have to see the whole way through. You just have to take the next step. Try it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you for spending time with me today. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Perhaps share it with someone who might need to hear this today. And until next time, take care of yourself. Remember, we're all beautifully unfinished. God bless you and have a beautiful weekend. Bye for now.